relationships are a two-way street. So obviously we know like Taylor's background and why she sang this song, but for a client to come in here and say, I'm just looking forward to karma, I would have a lot of questions about how this all went down.
Yeah.
Welcome to Theratay. We are not therapy, but we are super fun. And we had a song request from Jared.
From Jared.
Jared. Yeah, Katie's going to read this email.
Yeah, so one of our fans, Jared, reached out and said, hey, I'm a big fan of the podcast. I look forward to when an episode drops so I can listen to it on the way to work. I know that karma was just an honorable mention for Midnights, but I would love to hear your take on it, and we are here to provide that for you, Jared. So thank you for being a loyal listener. We're excited to give you our thoughts.
Yes, we love it when song requests come in, and so glad to be joining you on your way to work. How fun. So, Katie, can you tell me the lyrics that you'd like to highlight from Karma?
Yeah, so a few lyrics that I'll be highlighting today are Don't You Know That Cash Ain't the Only Price? And I keep my side of the street clean. You wouldn't know what I mean.
I'm so glad you brought up that lyric. I really wanted to talk to you about that.
We're gonna. What are your lyrics, Ashley?
I have a couple. One reminded me of Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love this reference. Keep going.
You know that GIF where he's like running on the sand and then like this crowd of people is running, trying to attack him. So this is what I pictured when I heard these lyrics. If you dare, you'll see the glare of everyone you burned just to get there. It's coming back around.
I love that.
Another one that stood out was ask me what I learned from all those years, ask me what I earned from all those tears, and ask me why so many fade, but I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, those are good lines.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
It's a fun one.
So tell us what your questions are for Karma as a client.
Yeah, so this one was a little bit tougher for me. What was your part in this? Like, is there any part of this that you had responsibility for? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I think when a client comes in and says, this is all their fault, this is kind of, how everything has impacted me, relationships are a two-way street. So obviously we know like Taylor's background and why she sang this song, but for a client to come in here and say, I'm just looking forward to karma, I would have a lot of questions about how this all went down.
Yeah. So can I just ask a clarifying question? When you say what was your part, can you add some more specificity to that?
Yeah. So I'm hearing that there was a rift in a relationship here and they're looking forward to revenge happening, right? And so I like obviously there are moments of like abuse or like things that like there's nothing you could have done differently, right? And other times relationships are a two-way street and we only focus on the other person's part in that.
Sure.
And so when we're not taking responsibility or accountability for what we have done, that's where I kind of question. And sometimes that's true and other times it's not. And I just wanted to kind of tease that out a little bit.
Yeah. No, thank you. That clarifies a lot.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. What would it be like to see this person get what they deserve? What would it be like to see the joys in life without feeling like you had to earn or strive for it?
Oh, yeah.
How about you?
That question.
What question?
Yeah. So, one of the lyrics I didn't mention that I'm going to reference right now is Spider Boy, King of Thieves, weave your little webs of opacity. So, and then the lyric after that is my pennies made your crown, trick me once, trick me twice, don't you know that cash ain't the only price? It's coming back around. So what is it like to rise above, and how do you hold on to this when you feel like the king of thieves is winning and profiting off of shady deals? So, yeah, that's the question.
Oh, it's such a good question. There's a lot of layers to that, I think.
Like, do you see one or two layers you want to share?
Well, I'm thinking of some recent events that we'll probably
we'll
have discussed by now. What would you be validating for this person?
I would validate that it really does pay off to do your part in keeping yourself above board or taking the high road. Living in a way that you can minimize your regrets, so you can look back and say, I'm really proud of that. And I think I would add that I think karma, we talked about this briefly before in a different episode, that karma can shape your expectations. If you're expecting somebody to get what they deserve, and then from your perspective, they don't get it, that can be a really hard thing to endure. But can you look back and say, I'm doing this because I believe that this is right? I'm following my integrity, my values, even if this doesn't pay out in their life the way that I want it to. I can still look back on my life with pride and say that I acted in a way that I felt like was appropriate and right.
Yeah, keeping your side of the street clean.
Keeping your side of the street clean. Yeah, which is a lyric that she references in this, that you just referenced from the song.
Yeah. Do you think we can keep our side of the street clean?
That feels like such a loaded question. Wait, what do you mean?
It's a big question. Well, I haven't thought about this at all, but I'm curious, like, I don't know, we're humans, like we do dumb stuff sometimes.
We do.
Or, things that we do impact others in a way that we didn't mean to happen. So like maybe intentionally we can, but I'm kind of questioning, like, I wonder.
Yeah, when I think about somebody keeping their side of the street clean, I interpret that to mean like I act with integrity, I, quote unquote, take the high road, I do what is right, I care for people well, I respect people, things like that. And I think that you can try and keep your side of the street clean, but knowing that you're not going to keep it clean all the time. But to me, what it comes down to is like repair. So, like, when you've made a mistake, when you've wronged somebody, or when it wasn't a mistake, you knew darn well what you were doing and you did it anyway because you wanted to hurt this person or you wanted to get revenge or you whatever, fill in the blank. Can you come back later and say, hey, I screwed up?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, or I will accept the consequences that came with my behavior. Like that to me feels like more keeping it clean and like avoiding mistakes or avoiding doing wrong things. It's like facing them with responsibility and accountability after it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
No, I think that's great. I think that's a really good way to put it. Because I don't think we can live life and expect perfection from ourselves or anybody else. And so what we do with when we make mistakes matters.
That's where it counts.
Yeah.
Ashleigh, can you share what your validations are for this
I
client?
would love to. So it's good to notice the positive things in life, and it's okay to want to see justice. So, when she talks about karma as a relaxing thought, like I love that. She's like, and the cat sitting on my lap, like all of these little joys that she has, that she's like, this is nice, giving karma the credit, I don't know, but the idea of like seeing those positive things in life is really beautiful.
And seeing that as a reward. Yeah, I totally agree. I love it.
What would you challenge?
I would challenge the idea that justice always happens. Sometimes it doesn't. And karma is the idea that somebody you'll get what's coming to you. So whether that's positive or negative, you're going to reap a consequence of that, which I think in general is a truth, that there are natural consequences to your behaviors, just like you said earlier, Ashleigh. It was so true. And I think every single person has experienced or seen an experience where somebody did something really wrong and then there wasn't appropriate accountability, or they didn't see justice, or they quote unquote got off easy, right? Whether that's like in a justice system, whether it's throughout history, whether it's in your personal life, like you are going to see people do horrible things and they're not going to suffer any apparent consequences for it. And so I would challenge that sometimes we don't get answers. We don't get justice. And this doesn't mean anything that you've done anything wrong. It just means that maybe justice takes a long time to show up. And sometimes we won't see it in our lifetime. And so how do you make peace within yourself when you don't get an outcome that you want?
Yeah, that's really good. And it's so hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah. A lot of emotions come up with that. Yeah. What about your challenges?
Yeah, and it's similar to one of the questions I asked, like acknowledge your part in this story if possible or relevant. So without knowing like the details, I don't want to assume that there is something that you did. But if there is, like being able to, like we've been saying, like connect with that accountability.
Absolutely.
And I think I skipped over recommendations, so I would love to hear
Let's circle back.
what recommendations you would have, Katie.
So I don't necessarily hear that this is happening in this song, but don't become prideful or full of yourself.
Mm.
I don't necessarily get that vibe again, but it's a potential warning of just like be a little bit aware of that, because I think that the words I would use in the song are like flaunt and taunt. There's a bit of like flaunting of like, it's a breeze in my hair, it's a cat purring in my lap, it's my boyfriend. Like, it's relaxing, right? There's a bit of like, look at me,
everything's going well.
Yeah, exactly. See how great it's going for me and how terrible it is for you. Like, bummer, you can't relate to that.
Ooh,
like,
yeah, there's some sassiness there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sassiness.
Yeah.
And keep reflecting on what's going well for you. So, I mean, the song is a celebration of what is going well, and I think that it's very appropriate and important for us to notice, like, hey, I did this well, and I'm experiencing the benefits of that. And I think that oftentimes the human perspective is to notice what's wrong and like to fixate on that as like a mistake that I made, if it's like a perfectionism issue or just like a pessimism, and just to say, hey, I made a good choice and I'm really glad I made that choice. Even if it's like, I went to bed last night early and I woke up feeling refreshed. I actually got all the sleep I needed. Like, way to go, me. It's really hard to not scroll until 1 a.m. Like, or binge another episode or whatever. And I didn't do it.
Karma's a good night's sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't drink caffeine past 4 o'clock. Like, whatever it is.
You can tell we're over 30. It's over.
We are over 30, that's for sure. Any recommendations that you would provide?
Yeah. I think it's similar to something that I've said earlier too. Like, it's try thinking of something you enjoy but didn't have to earn through being a certain way. Like, is there anything that you can think of that's going well that like, and maybe people who believe in karma a little bit more than I do, like believe that any good like can come back, and like it's more complicated than I'm envisioning, but in some ways I'm envisioning somebody who feels like everything has to be handled just right, otherwise terrible things are going to happen. And so that feels like a lot of striving to me, potentially. So is there anything that you have that's good that you didn't have to earn, but can just enjoy knowing that it's there?
Yeah, I like that. Just like something in your environment that you don't have to create but you benefit from.
Yeah. What would you encourage this person with?
Keep focusing on yourself and keep doing what's right. Essentially, keeping your side of the street clean. We don't always have to take matters into our own hands. Sometimes when someone does something shady, we can just let the natural consequences of their choices occur, and we don't have to intervene. And so I kind of get that from the song, that like the song is just like, I'm watching things fall apart for you. I'm watching that and I'm like, yep, you deserve that. But not necessarily intervening. And so I think that can be an encouragement of like, yeah, you don't necessarily have to intervene. You can just let the consequences play out.
Yeah. And in addition to that, I think you could say like, we don't have to see it either, right? Like we don't always know what's happening for somebody. And like there could be consequences to something that has happened that are happening behind closed doors that we're just not aware of.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's a really good thing to encourage that.
Yeah. And I think I love that, because you're bringing up the point that even if justice does occur, that doesn't mean I will be aware that it's occurring. Which is really hard when you want to watch it happen.
Yeah, hard to come to terms with, for sure.
It absolutely is, because you might never know that that's what happened.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trust in that process. Or trust in karma to do the work that karma does. Whatever your belief system is.
Yeah, that's good. My encouragement was just to enjoy the good stuff. I think that we can lose sight of some of the little things in life that are really sweet.
Yeah.
So finding those moments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to wrap us up?
Yes. Thank you, listeners, for joining us on an episode of Karma. If you would like to check us out further, you can go to our handle on Instagram, Therataypodcast. You can also find us on YouTube, on Spotify, or email us at therataypodcast@gmail.com to request. Thank you, Jared, for requesting Karma. And thank you, Jeremy, for being our editor.
Yeah, and Katie, that wraps up our Midnight's era.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
So,
whoa, stay tuned for whatever album we select next. Have fun.